Welcome back to another Brian's Big Idea, and this time I'm going to talk about earnings and a couple stocks that are interesting. One that just reported and is soaring to the moon, and another one that's going to report later in this week. And then we're going to talk about one of our wonderful services here at Zacks. It's Counter Strike, and it's run by Jeremy Mullen. All right, so the big idea here that I'm trying to get across is earnings can sometimes just your headline numbers aren't exactly what you should be keying in on. And we're going to review that idea here with my first idea, and it's Palantir. Let's go right to the chart here, and we can see it's Palantir Technologies, PLTR. There's four tickers in that symbol. It's a Zacks rank number 3 right now. So let's explain why it is a 3 right now. They reported earnings last night, and earnings came in right on the money there. But look at this. We're up $4.25 as of recording this video. That's a 25% move. That's gigantic. A 25% move on what is actually a very large size company. We got 36 billion in market cap. So a lot of billions in market cap were added today. So let's just go through the numbers and then we'll talk about why it's up so much. All right, so as you can see, here's the most recent quarter. This was last night. They reported 8 cents. It was what everybody thought it was going to be. So they get an earnings meet. They don't really have the greatest of earnings histories, but not the worst either, with 2 meets and 2 beats. That's good to see. Earnings estimates prior to the report. And this is why this stock is a Zacks rank 3. It's been hanging out at 7 for this quarter, hanging out at 7 for next quarter, hanging out at 29 cents the whole time, and actually moving a penny lower here for next fiscal year. So the Zacks rank is all about earnings estimates and the movements thereof of earnings estimates. And that's why a big stock like this won't get that many revisions ahead of the quarter. But what happened here that made this thing move? Well, I'm going to cheat. I just love to cheat. Let me just get this in. We got 20% top line growth this year. That's going to kick up to 21%. So we're accelerating our revenue growth. We love to see that. Now we're going to jump to our valuation section. You're paying a lot now for it. It's 57 times earnings, showing 16%. But I think that number was like 20% last night. So that has to update. Your price to book is pretty big at 11 times, but this is an asset slim business and concerned with AI. So you're going to get a good bump here, 16 times price to sales. So here is your big tail of the tape. Why is this stock moving so big? It's because of the margin profile. We saw a big move last quarter from negative 5.8 to positive 3.7. This number, I think, is going to be, in that 8 range or something like that. I noticed that your pre-margin number for margins, it just accelerated in a huge way. So while the company basically met on the top with a slight beat on top and met earnings, stock's up 25%. And the reason for that is that margins have dramatically shifted higher. Now, when you have, some growth there, we're looking at 21% for next year, and you have margins expanding, you're going to have a stock price move a lot higher. So here's the chart. This one wasn't around when we were all going to die in the pandemic. It came in that tech recession and was under 10 for a while. Boy, I missed the boat there, didn't I? Then, most recently popped up, and now we have this good trajectory and big spacing between these earnings lines. So these earnings lines showing good trend, as in they are moving higher. And there's a good difference, the spatial difference between, this year and then this year. The big move up there. So this stock trading up over $20 now. The idea, again, is margins, margin growth. So that's Palantir, P-A-L-T-R. All right, our next stock that I'm going to profile is Pinterest. And some people call it Pinterest. Some people call it whatever they want, but I'm going to call it Pinterest, and it's going to be P-I-N-S. There's no differentiating that particular ticker, pins. It's a Zacks rank number 1. It's a strong buy. It's an A for growth and F for value. In my aggressive growth stocks, I love to see this. I want to see a strong growth score, a weak value score. It tells me I'm right on the money. It's right where I want to be. because I'm the aggressive growth stock strategist. Okay, they're going to report on February 8th, which is coming up. And they are also a very big cap, good size cap anyway, $26 billion. Now, there was some rumors about Amazon buying this company not too long ago. So there is this, support idea underneath it, but a good looking chart. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on here. For the numbers we like to see, we see a good beat. This is actually a beat. Don't because we had the estimate is 0. We reported 8 cents, so that's a check for that. Another big beat. So we've got a history of beating the number. Wall Street loves it when you beat the number. Well, at least Brian Bolan loves it when you beat the number. I don't know. Sometimes Wall Street doesn't like it. So we're 51 cents. We're hanging out right there, and that's for the other night. Okay, then earnings are going to slow down into the first quarter of next year. 13 cents. They're hanging out there. $1.07 just hanging out, and this number is starting to trick up. 128, 129, 130, 131. Slow and steady wins the race, but good earnings growth. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's going to happen. And here is your big story. We're looking at 9% top line growth this year, but that is going to really accelerate. It's not quite a double, but it sure looks like it. It's going to go 17% higher, $3.6 billion in sales. That's a lot of selling things on Pinterest. So what I want to talk about now, that was Pinterest and that was Palantir. We have a great service at Zacks, and it's headed up by Jeremy Mullen, and it's called Counter-Strike, Zacks Counter-Strike. So what Jeremy does, he's a more or less a professional trader, and he's looking for dimes, nickels, quarters, maybe dollars. But for the most part, he looks at the broader market in a way that is maybe a little different than most people, because he is so fine-tuned into the here and now, because he wants to trade and make money. So what he does with his service is he looks for those things that we don't normally see, maybe those dark pool trades. Of course, he's looking not so much longer at the VIX. He's looking at the 0-day to expire options, or zero DTEs. Which have significant implications inside the market. So Jeremy focuses his time on looking basically where everyone else isn't, or maybe more the professional big-time traders are, and trying to make things happen that way. So with the service for Counter-Strike, I can tell you that I'm not going to show you what he's got in the portfolio, but I know that it is pretty small right now. So I can't really show it, but that means he's got a lot of dry powder on the sidelines. And he gives you basically an update every night. This was just posted just the other night, and he talks about the big items in the market, and he talks about the ISM number, frustration on the bears, and down a little bit lower, I think you'll be able to see he talks about earnings, and he highlights what earnings are coming up. So he talks about the broader market as well as what's going on in his service. So it's a great thing for you to go and check it out. It is Counter-Strike, Zacks Counter-Strike, run by Jeremy Mullen. All right, that's it for this week. Be sure to join me next week when I've got another bright idea and we look at another great service from Zacks. Until then, why don't you go to zacks.com/promo to check out all of our latest promotions.